Welcome to episode 24 of Monday Night Live Chat. And we are talking about the best soap for window cleaning on the planet, which is Dawn. That's right. That's right.
Hands down. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
That's it. It's a statement.
That's it. I love this soap wars conversation because people are super heated. But if you're in the comments, you have to tell us what your favorite soap is, even if it's Dawn, because we're gonna take a tally.
Yeah, seriously. Like this is probably what, second to water-fed pulver's trad argument.
Probably. At least this is a personal preference thing, but the whole water-fed versus trad thing, we already know the answer. You know,
That's
just
true.
more of a troll question.
Yeah. Seems like, though, I would say that most window cleaners use Dawn just because it is so cheap and so easy to use. Yeah. Like really. I have been using Crazy Larry's, though, for the past, ever since I got one sent to me by Crazy Larry's, and I do really like it. But it's expensive. Yeah. It's really expensive for like 16-ounce bottle. It's $25.
Yeah. It's not cheap to be Crazy Larry. He's got medical bills. Well, if you didn't know, by the way, it was Steve's great introduction. This is SteveO here on the side of me. This is his YouTube channel. He is a window cleaner extraordinaire. So please, if you're here, make sure you are subscribed, because the fake numbers I'm going to pull out of my butt, it looks like only 27% of you are subscribed. The rest of you have not subscribed.
That's actually a very true statistic, though. And like YouTube, that it's like lower than 30% of the people that are subscribed that watch your content. Definitely. We already have a question. You want to do shout outs?
I just want to do quick shout outs.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Just Jacob, what's up? By the way, hashtag first. Hashtag Just Jacob's not going to be happy at me either. I have something to tell him. Evan Stomp, what's going on? Chase Rigdon, what's going on? Damien, of course, is here. Dickus Pro, by the way. What's up? Katie to the WC, Levi S, Victor Garul. Anyway, whole bunch of other people here. If you're here, tell us what your favorite soap is. Okay, now we can go back to questions.
Oh, yeah. There was a great question here from Andy. What's the best way to clean shower hard water on the glass? God, I hate shower door hard water, but depending on how bad it is, just a hard water removal cream.
Do you want to know what my greatest fail story? Probably one of the top ones that I ever did. This is like recent. This is like more recent than I care to admit. But I had some restore, and I was like, you know what? It was a nice day. I put fans on. I'm like, I'll do it. I know. I tell people that I almost killed myself. It was the dumbest thing I've ever. I was like, my throat was burning. It was so stupid. So don't use one restore.
What did you do?
In a shower stall. I was like there spraying it on. I'm like, man, killing myself with the fumes.
Yeah, I did that with oil flow one day. Oil flow from Titan is super strong. And then I took the microfiber towels that I was doing it with and put them in my washer to clean it out. And our washer stunk for 1 month. Like the clothes, it was just, then you put them in the dryer and the fumes that would come out after you open it up. Oh man, it was like Chernobyl. It was bad.
You know what one of my favorite things is? So I was talking with Cody from Glass Renew, and they came out with a Glass Renew hard water just kit, basically, and it's to be made on an orbital sander. And I was like, dude, I love Glass Renew. Like, I want to try this. I've had the Glass Renew kit, and I tried it, and it works phenomenally well. But it's like a kit, right? You have to use the paste and the pads and but it works really surprisingly well. So
really,
yes.
My freaking phone keeps going off. Let's see here. Victor Garul uses a little bit of Unger for the scent, a little bit of Glass Clean 4 for the shine, and a little Dawn for the slip and degreaser. Nice combo. I find sometimes with like Dawn, if you put a little bit too much like different type of stuff, you start getting quite a like cloudy solution, and then that can kind of show up on the glass a little bit, I find.
Yeah, I put I do barely enough to even make bubbles, like a quarter-sized dollop in 3 gallons. And then my operations officer, who would be in charge, of course, making the buckets, he'd be like, and just be like digging foam out. And I'm like, what is going on, man? You're gonna chase that all day.
That's the way I love it. Just super, super overly foamy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. And then you post videos of that on TikTok and people get so mad. So mad.
That's why though, but you can't have no soap in the water because then the video doesn't look good.
What are you doing? Just moving a squeegee on glass is stupid. So it works.
Look how good I am. Whoa.
Scott Ratliff had a good question here. 36-inch squeegee. Best handle and channel setup. Ooh, for a 36. I would honestly probably say anything Sorbo would probably be best 36, like a Quicksilver with a Sorbo swivel handle. But if they made the Sorbo Eliminator in a 36, I would do that.
Yeah.
I think he should do that.
I like the Ninja handle. I still like the Ninja handle for wide body stuff.
Yes, 100%.
But you better really decide what you're doing with your life if you're trying to use a 36-incher. You gotta be pot committed. That's that's like cleaning a window with a broomstick, or broom handle or whatever.
Just Jacob, it's just as stupid as people using GG4 and then squirts Dawn into it. Totally defeats the purpose. Here's the thing, Jacob. Yes, it defeats one purpose of Glass Clean 4, and that the surfactant clogs the pores of the actual glass. But what does it matter? Like, no freaking joke.
Hard hitting questions.
I'll say something like, okay, so when I made a video about
smirk, it's coming. Something's good's coming.
I made a video about combining those two, and I got a call from the manufacturer less than 24 hours just due to that. Now, here's my problem, and I told them my issue with it is that Glass Gleam by itself, even with Glass Gleam Glide, sucks to work with. It just does. In my opinion, it sucks to work with. So you could tell me all day that like a little bit of Dawn in it is bad, but I will do it every single day because it makes it so much better to work with. You can control it. And anybody that I've seen work with this has freaking drips everywhere because it's such a loose solution and it's just a freaking mess. There's my spiel.
Let's just say that out of everything I've ever done in my entire life, no manufacturer has called me within 24 hours and been like, I just saw your video. Like,
it was weird.
I could say anything right now and no one would care.
I haven't got a call from Mormon yet, but I'm waiting on that one.
Well,
wow. Guy loves me over there. He loves me. Let's see. What else, man? What's this next one question here? Got hired to clean a second-story window, but not hired for the first floor because someone else owns the first. Am I responsible for cleaning the first? What would you do? It depends. Is it commercial or residential? And I have to say that usually I didn't care. I just cleaned what I was meant to clean, and that was it. So I would say that if it's like a residential, I wouldn't worry about it. Even commercial. Now, commercial buildings, that's where sometimes it gets weird in that if you like clean all the top floors, we would usually clean the first floor too because the whole building would be a part of it. So yeah. Jacob is very anticipating what you have to tell him.
Yes. By the way, I could not get him the channel. I told him I was going to get him because they only brought 200, which I don't understand. They were gone within the first few hours. He's like, I can't give one to you. They're for people. We didn't bring enough. And he drove. So I'm going to try to get my hands on some for you, just Jacob. Still am.
That was a sick channel. Do you have it with you or do you have it at your office?
No, I have it at my office.
Yeah. That was cool. I like how he just like went with it and did the Godfather with the star. And then is it a different red than like the American looking one?
Yes. It's like a deep candy red. It's the same color that's on that red handle.
Oh, okay.
It's like kind of like weird, like deep, like black cherry red.
Dang. Yeah. Once he put that out there, I even sent the same message to you guys, like, please pick me up one. I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I was like, I just need two because there was literally was you and Just Jacob. I told him I'd grab one, and he's like, Yosh, can't Yosh. Because they only had 200, so he wanted to give them out, and he thought that it would last the whole show, and it was like gone in the first day. We brought a few hats. You know how people are like vultures there anyway. It lasted 2 hours.
Yeah,
and like all of our stuff was gone.
I made that mistake in Florida at the PW or the PW, whatever that one was. And me and Mark put out a lot of stuff. And even Mark said, he goes, this is not a good idea. I'm like, yeah, just put it out here. It just doesn't matter. And people coming by, just grabbing free shirts. Like I have so many free shirts from even when we went to Tennessee that mean nothing to me. As in like, I don't even know what they are for or what it is. But at the Indian, I walked around, people were just like handing out shirts and I just grabbed them.
But
So
it was
like,
a free shirt. Like, what size are you? Of course.
Free shirt.
Boom. Boom.
It's sad. It's sad. Oh man. Well,
by the way, TJ is here. What's up, TJ? Awesome guy. Name brand is here, of course. Cyrus Walker. What's up? Nick Stafford. How's it going, Nick?
yeah.
Alex Tries is here. Mark Rhodes. Man, we got like a super all-star crew watching, so that's pretty awesome.
It's wintertime, man. Half the freaking country is like freezing. It's just a lot of extra time. How many people are just like rescheduling quite often? I think that's something I've been going through like the past month is boom, schedule. All of a sudden the weather comes up the next week and just can't do any work. Can't do any residential. That's all I've been doing lately.
Yeah. California and that like East Coast or West Coast all together has been getting like dumped on with rain too. So they're like, we don't get rain and they've had like 6 weeks of rain. So they're rescheduling people. You guys are getting a bunch of snow. The Midwest has been like super cold. It's kind of coming out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like here in North Carolina, it's been pretty good, but I feel like it's going to be an early spring. I don't know if that's what everybody else thinks, but
yeah,
I think.
I truly hope so. Hey, there's a good question here from Dicus Pro LLC. Opinion on work vehicles. Need to buy something for my employees, but not sure if I should get a newer van or truck or old with high miles. Do customers care? I would say that customers care just on it looking clean. It doesn't have to be brand new. You could definitely have an old car look really good. Keeping it just clean and good looking is the most important part. It does not have to be new. Van or truck is hard. They're both great options. If you get a truck, huh?
I was going to say, it depends on if you have storage. Like if you have a place for everything, then a truck is fine. But if you're just keeping everything in the vehicle, then a van is more secure. You know, it's like a rolling storage unit.
And a van is kind of nice with employees too, because just like you said, like once you can like secure all that stuff up, not getting stuff stolen, if that is like something that happens in your area, that is a really nice part about having a van compared to a truck. Where with my trucks and living in apartments back in the day, I always had to bring all my stuff in every day. I lived on a 3rd story and it got super old. So some of those things I think about, but I mean, Toyota Tacoma's probably like one of the best trucks for window cleaning. Not too bad on gas mileage, reliable.
Did I hear that they stopped making the Transit Express?
They stopped making the Transit Connect is done.
Connect, that's the one, the smallest one, right?
Yeah, they're still going to make the larger transits, the big ones, but yeah, it's done. That's why that price went so high. And then also this whole entire thing of people living out of vans now, like as a thing, the prices on them have just skyrocketed. It's crazy. So.
Katie just had to brag and say sunny and nice here in Florida. By the way, we have to do a temperature check. What's your temperature and your city and state? Just put your temperature, city and state. Right now it is 50. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you because I was almost wrong. Yeah, it is 38 degrees in Mooresville, North Carolina. So
30. You beat by 10, son. 10. That's right.
But it's like a very comfortable.
Stupid camera.
Yeah, let's do it like this so that it doesn't break. It's supposed to be like almost 60 this weekend and sunny, so it's good. But our temperatures are always like, it was like 48 today, like 50 degrees, and it was like really just nice, just like really nice. Like it's just not wet, cold, damp. Like the air is warm. Like anyway,
dude, not here, man. We've had like it's just been not every other day, but every few days snow, but it has not come out of the 30s for a while. We had one nice day in the 40s last freaking Tuesday. That's when I did one house, and then it just went right back down the pooper.
Yeah, look at these 28 in Colorado. SteveO. Welcome to the channel. 54 in Houston, 42 in Texas, 50 in Texas, 30 in Denver, 28 in Michigan. By the way, 28 in Michigan, it feels like it's like 3 degrees. Same thing
negative
with
15 in Canada. Evan Stomp. Negative 15. You ever talk to someone from like Toronto and they've told you like the temperatures that they get in the winter?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's horrible.
So I have a buddy in Australia, and we're talking about weather and stuff. He's like, yeah, because right now is their summer. They're like, you know, in the busiest time of year, whatever. We're talking about how cold. He goes, yeah, it gets, you know, pretty chilly here and then whatever. And he told me its temperature. I figured it out. I was like, your low temperature is like 52 degrees. That's like the coldest it's ever been. And he's like, well, the coldest I could ever remember.
Wow.
Like, when I went to Wisconsin, it was negative like 38 degrees or something with the wind chill.
Man.
Anyway.
Hey, this is some good news. Robert Stewart said the Transit is being replaced by an EV van. What I hear anyway. Man, wouldn't that suck to get like stopped somewhere and then you have to like charge?
Yeah, but how dope would that be to have a work vehicle that was electric?
Right, exactly.
If you kept it up. I mean, well, think about it. What is like a Tesla can get like 200-300 miles on a charge? That's like a day.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
Another cool question that was posted here twice is from Cyrus Walker. Hey, Steve in Jersey, let's say you are doing a 2-story job for a client. They are not home and you are only using poles and not using ladders. How do you take off 2nd-story screens? You got to have a ladder.
I don't take them off from the outside. I always call, if I'm doing outs only, I'll tell the person like, hey, just, you know, we'll be there Tuesday between 7 and 8 in the morning. Just go ahead and take the screens down. And that's pretty much it. If they don't, I'll try to clean it through there, but
you'll just rinse it down through.
I'll like hit it through and go, hey, just, you know, like the screen in the, because there's usually like a screen they miss like in the closet. I'm like, don't worry. I hit the top window, the one that you can actually see, and then kind of clean through there. It'll get it a little bit undusty, but yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to take it down.
This comes up all the time now, though. I don't know why in the last like 6 months.
Because it's a screen tool. The screen tool came out and people go, oh, I could take the screen tool only works for spring tabs on the outside. And they just think that it's like, you never have to go in and take screens down or have somebody take the screens down. It's just not the case.
It's baffled me like lately as far as how many people have asked the question. I'm like, dude, you if they're home, just go in and get them out because that is going to be the quickest way. And if you're laddering, and then they'll say, well, if you're using water-fed pole and you got to get the screen, I'm like, well, if you're already going to go up and remove the screen, then just clean it traditionally. Like that's what I've done, like all the time. If I have a customer I have one customer that I just recently fired because 4 times in a row I said, I need to start inside. And every time I came, he said, oh, the cleaners are inside. You got to wait. And I'm like, last time I was like, okay. And I just cleaned everything, did it. And I said, you're off of my list. Like just done. So,
yeah. You waste my time too many. Yeah. Again, we always talk about this. You don't go to a mechanic and tell them like what tools to use. Like if this is what I tell you, the first thing I have to do is this is the first thing I have to do. And I'm not going to sit around because you're not paying me to not work.
Right. Exactly. We have a great question here by Triple H. How often do clients want internal window cleaning? Is it pretty common? Yes, it is common. And I would say that at least once a year, if not at least twice a year. That's residential. And then for commercial, I would try to sell that every time you do outside, do inside. There's also this fear going on that I don't get this year. That's been a trend of 2022 and 23 of I don't want to clean insides. What is that all about? Like that to me is a complete job.
We talk to a lot of people, right? If somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I'm a pressure washer. I want to do window cleaning. Could I get away with doing outs only? I say, okay, yes. Like you're going to be cutting yourself down because again, not everybody wants just outs. Most people want ins and outs, but yeah, that's totally doable. But if you're a window cleaner and you're like, I only want to do outs, like why is anybody hiring you for like, if they want ins and outs, they're not just gonna be like, well, okay, I'll hire somebody else for like you lost the job. Like it just, I get it. Outs are way easier, funner, simpler, quicker. Like I get that, but I also think that sucks. I'm sorry if that's your MO.
Well, too, it's like that's the product that you really want to show your customer. Like when you do outside only out of customers, like usually the inside is all just looks bad. Like or unless they have actual like people who clean their home and they're well off and that's what they do, then that's okay. But yeah, I just don't understand only trying to sell outside only and being scared to go inside. I've heard that quite a bit lately too, just like scared to go inside, and I don't know why that's become a thing.
It's this weird like it's the liability. People are like, I don't want to, but that's like you own a business. Like
Yeah,
a ladder could fall off your truck and go through the windshield of a car. Like that's the liability that we take. I don't know. It's weird, but Victor just said that he's scared of heights. I don't know if he's serious, but maybe.
oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. You know what? I'm a little scared of heights. You know,
I used to be back in the day, and then I decided I'm not anymore.
Yeah, well, I remember you on top of that building. I mean, you were shaking everywhere. I had to really calm down, Josh, and you know, it's like we had to talk for a little bit and just chill it down a little bit.
You know what it was? It was just my eyes were so because I was crying so much that it was like,
yeah,
it got to be much.
We edited that part out of the video.
That's right.
Still don't make you feel bad. Oh man, busting your balls. Let's see here. What else? There's so many questions now. So many
questions.
Yes, guys. This is from Mark. Oh man, Rhodes.
Yeah.
Mike Rhodes. Hey guys, any suggestions of an alternate channel to use with Ninja Ergotech? So many. You can use a lot of. Josh was saying about this earlier. Is that with that Unger Ninja 40-degree handle, you can almost use every wide body channel out there. So it includes Servo Black Mamba, Cobra, Quicksilver, Pulex Lumax, Ettore Super Squeegee channel. Any wide body that you want to use, you can use with that handle. So it's a great handle if you want to switch things up.
Yeah. I also like the Ninja handle is my particular favorite. But that's a wide body. When you get into Ergotech, I don't like clipless anything. So I don't use any of the Unger stuff. I always go with the Ettore because I like one clip, obviously. Right. So, but in the Ninja stuff, I like the Ninja handle. I also like the Ninja T-bar, which that handle is the same, but feels good. So.
Right, exactly. It's super, super comfortable. I pretty much switched to that for good.
By the way, I want to say something real quick. Last two weeks ago, we like broke the record comment, the record for comments in this group, and with all these awesome questions and posts, I think we may again. But if you guys want to comment with anything that's awesome and relevant, please do so. The conversation's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think we had. I don't even know the number. It was it was 600 to 700 comments in this chat box, which is crazy. Time. Yeah, which is just really, really insane. Victor Garul said that McDonald's must have taken my university, saw them using Ettore and SteveO's technique. Woo! Man, we were just talking about that last week as far as how hard it is to get McDonald's. And now I've been training the employees. I'm sorry, guys. Man. So sorry.
I don't want to say, but that's bad, Steve.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. It's okay. We don't need McDonald's. It's all right. It's all right. What do you guys? This is from Guy F. What do you guys do during slow months? Also, what's the best marketing techniques that's worked for you? Slow months. Oh man.
He means right now, Steve.
Right now you just sulk and you just put your head down, you sleep and you hibernate and you just eat a lot and get fat and
been drinking a lot.
Yeah, I just drink a lot and then you clean out your liver in the spring and you get a break then, so it's good. But no, in all seriousness, depending on where you live, I mean, we're more talking about slow time, I think, in cooler areas or places that get hit by winter more. We talked about like snow removal. Also just, building a route and getting that done or having route work. I mean, those are the couple of things that I would think of. Why are you laughing?
No, I'm not. I'm smiling because you said route.
Hey, I'm trying just to, appeal to the masses, make everybody happy. That's what I do.
There's you don't want to like get away from your core too terribly much, but depending, I was in Wisconsin and they're just like, literally by Thanksgiving, it was like, all right, buckle up. It's 3 months of nothing, like nothing. And I really like TJ's idea there, but just didn't make enough. It just didn't make enough. Yeah.
But, Yeah, go ahead.
I did want to jump in real quick on the situation for Canada. There is no situation in Canada as of now. I mean, this is like when we shared that secret with you guys, it was potentially happening sometime.
Yeah.
So it's on the docket, but there's like it's not in the works enough that it is going to happen anytime soon. So unfortunately, nothing super close.
Yeah, that's it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. There's also always in Canada the window cleaning store with Mark Strange. So if you ever want to hit him up, he's got some of our products as well from WCR, but he can be a really great resource in Canada.
Yeah, and another Canadian, Kathleen Rupert, just said, "Why is shipping to Canada from WCR as much as the order?" Yes, because shipping, taxes, duties, and then the fee for the program that the modules use all comes in. So if you're not spending like a decent chunk, we ship worldwide daily. There's orders coming in all across the world, and there's people who will literally just buy like $100 worth of like shirts in like Switzerland or something and pay the duties on it. Just depends on how much you really want it, I guess. But
yeah, we see some crazy things where people even drive across the border to like pick things up and then drive back too.
That's super common for Canadians in general because they can run freight forwarders who do all that work for them and make it super easy, and we can still ship it free to the freight forwarder, and then all you're doing is paying to get across the border. So
so that's something to look into for sure. GK Grayson asked a question here. Do you ever clean shower glass for anyone? I cleaned the glass, then used Invisible Shield, and it was just so foggy after when I polished and dried it. Have any tips? Yes, I think a lot of us clean shower glass for people. It's a popular thing for doing inside of homes. And as far as the fogginess, I mean, if there's humidity or, any of that in the air, that's just going to happen. There's really no way to stop that.
You mean fogginess or cloudiness? Like,
oh, true.
Is it like dry cloudy that you might not have wiped enough of it off?
Oh, because he did use the Invisible Shield. So that's probably why. I would go over it with another microfiber and really buff it out. And maybe that would help you on that. But maybe you did add maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, that stuff goes surprisingly far. It's like ceramic coating is like less is almost more with it.
Yep, exactly. And then let's see here. Oh, this is a good question for you. Roman asked, what are you guys' best SEO tips to get more online leads?
I got one.
You got one.
Business.
What is it?
Oh man, I am a huge fan of having active SEO because you can't just do SEO once. It's like climbing a hill in the sand. Like if you climb, you could get almost to the top and stop and you just slide right back down. So you want to just be as active as possible. Just if you can find a great company, do it. Otherwise, it really is something you have to be active. Just finding out where to put your stuff so that it can kind of all link to you helps with SEO. Once the crawlers find that you're actually a relevant site, meaning that you're real and you're providing some kind of content, people are looking at your stuff, it wants to rank you higher because that's its job, is to find stuff that are real good sites. And if more people are seeing your stuff, more people are basically justifying you. So just getting those links out, it's not even creating the backlink, it's just creating the traffic. So
yeah. Robert Stewart had a good question. What's the best way to determine if a window has tint? I just did a full job. I just did a job with full inside tinting and half outside scrims. Hard for me to tell as it was a quality job. What's the best way to determine if a window has tint? So if it has tint, aftermarket tint, you'll usually see like a thin line around the edges that you can really see that tint. Like you can see it. Now, like I think the thing that people get really weirded out by is factory tint, and that usually that is like in between, and it's not like a layer on the outside that you would or inside that you would mess up, right? So like if you see that and you can't find anything like that, and that's most likely like commercial glass, or it may have like a weird tint to it, you're not going to have any sort of abrasive that would scratch that up as far as that goes. So just look for the aftermarket tint. Like that's the most important thing with tint, because I do get this question a lot of, hey, there's outside tint because the window looks dark. That doesn't mean that there is a tint on the outside, right? some of the times what you'll find is a reflective tint on the outside. I forget what that is called exactly, but that kind of stuff I would stay away from probably using like any sort of abrasive on or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tint's one of those really weird things because crappy tint is literally just plastic on glass. Glass is hard, plastic soft. If you got crap tint, you're going to ruin it. So you have to kind of feel it, but you get used to like the texture. I don't know how to explain it, but glass is like cold and slippery, like hard, and tint is like
Sticky,
plasticky. And by the way, I just missed Alex said on SEO, please share a company that is reputable. I get cold called all the time from randoms. I talk about it all the time in the podcast, but Justin Monk SEO did phenomenal things for me. Just search him, Monk SEO. Does awesome. But that's the big thing. That's how SEO companies get you. We used to have somebody in the industry that they said they were doing things for people, and they're like, but it'll take like 6 months. So pay me every month. And then 6 months comes and go, nothing happened. And they go, give me like 2 more months. Let's try to change it. And then nothing happens. They're like, all right, 1 more month. And, and then you just paid them for 8 months to find out that they didn't do anything. And that was, I won't mention names, but that was a company that is no longer in our industry for anything because they've been kind of pushed out. But that's basically what's happening.
Damn.
Yep.
Dying. Man, there's so many questions here, and I don't really know where we're at with all these. This was a good one, though, that I think everyone could comment on real quickly. Was from Jen Morrison, and has a client ever threatened to not pay you, and what did or you do? So really great. If you had that happen to you, I would love to hear comments like that about like what did you do. I'm going through that right now with a customer. Yeah,
great
exactly.
Timing.
Yeah, and this was a really good customer for a long time, but then once I let them know I wasn't going to be servicing the location anymore, they shut off all communication. Like literally been servicing this like customer for like over 9 years, and I never expected it. It's not a large amount. I'll be honest. I'm just going to let it go and just pay the taxes on it, even though I didn't receive the money on it. But I would not suggest that in every situation. One of the worst situations we have ever come across is we were doing a construction clean. And every time we did a building, it had to be paid right after the building. And we basically had a customer where they did like the first 2, and there was 10 buildings. Each building cost like $3,000, and we were done to get paid because it was construction clean. And all of a sudden, after the 3rd building, boom, we're doing building after building. And each building was done like every month. So we did this over a year. And it turned into a situation where these people were hired us underneath a construction company to do the work. And so what we had to do was go to the bank with that company when they deposited the check, and also had the construction company there. And when they gave the money back, the bank gave us our part, and then the lady literally had like nothing left from it. And it was crazy because we actually knew already that this person may have been an issue before, and like talked to them and said, hey, like, can we make this like a cool thing? And it didn't go well. And that was the last time. But that was the worst thing I've ever seen. Like it almost went to court, but it didn't. But it was very, very close. But then you have your customers sometimes who will just hold off and just take forever until you bug them, which, implements the idea of always collecting like you would, after every single job, and really making sure that happens,
Yeah. I had, by the way, the answer is nothing. You're going to do nothing if you don't get paid, because anything you do is going to cost more than what you didn't get paid. Yeah. Like people are like, I put a construction lien. How much did you charge? You got like $400, $1,000, $2,000. Like how much are you going to pay for that construction lien? If it's big enough, maybe, but like at that point, it's not even really worth it. I did get stiff for about $1,200. And it was for a customer again. I had her for a long time. She was a great lady. She owned a pet store. I had her for a very, very long time. Like we'd bring people in, like we'd shoot the poo with her, and like, hey, this is the new person. She'd razz them up a bit. It was just great. Like she was a super cool chick. I bought all my pet stuff from them, everything. Well, like 2 different times she wasn't there when we were getting paid. I'm like, whatever, The 3rd time she wasn't there, I was like, I'll call her and just remind her. She's like, oh yeah, cool, no problem. I'm like leaving tomorrow night. If I don't get it to you now, I'll get it to you when I come back. I'll be back in 2 weeks. We're going to Florida. I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. Like literally knew her very well. Anyway, racked up all this money, and the guy showed up one day and they called me and they're like, "Hey, there's nothing in this store anymore." I was like, "A big store." And I was like, "What?" They're like, "Everything is gone. It's empty. It's an empty building." And I'm like, "Come on, what? What?" And it was up the street from my shop. So I showed up and I'm like, "What in the F?" She literally just was like, "Peace out," and like never talk to her again. So you forget sometimes, you're like, this chick's my friend. No, she's not. She does not care about you. She's just there. You just happen to be providing her a service and she likes you better than the others. That's pretty much it.
You ever had a company file for bankruptcy and then you can't contact them for the invoices they owe?
No, I had one company not pay me that time that was going to go in, and it was like through a property management company or whatever. I literally Googled for like 2 hours and found the like president of the company, and I sent an email and I forwarded them. I like copied them in like 3 different people and the other people. And I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, we're still owed this money. And I know that there's some financial troubles, but we're going to be bringing this to court if we are not getting our money." Like, we're in the middle of snow season. And within literally 30 minutes, I had 2 phone calls from the lady at a conference call, like, "Hey, could you go ahead? Something was wrong with our stuff. Well, just give me your address. I'm going to go ahead and overnight at UPS or DHL overnight and get you that check." And yeah, sure enough, I had my check overnight because I got somebody in trouble. Which
Right.
After that part where I went back and forth so much, I wasn't really even caring that I did.
Name brand did a quote for 600. He agreed, did the job, got home. He called and said we agreed on 400. Said we could not cash the check. Super, super cool. Man, I just like, yeah, I don't get what goes on with some people. I've definitely had a couple of occurrences over my time where the customer called and they hadn't paid yet. And they said, this was wrong. This is wrong. And I've literally just told them, hey, you know what? You just pay me what you think I deserve and we'll just call it good. And this relationship is done. And
you'll never talk again.
Yep. Yeah. And
then they give you a 3-star review or something.
I got a 4-star review from a customer a year after I had cleaned the windows, and I almost called them and was like, "Did you get like cleaning by someone else and then you thought it was me?" Or like, why a year later would you do a 4-star? No, nothing else than the 4 stars. That's it. And I was just like, and I've cleaned windows for this person, like I would say about 7 times. And it's always a great customer. Like we always go back and forth for like 30, 45 minutes before I even clean the windows. It's always outside only. It's just like easiest house.
That happened weird for WCR. Somebody left us a 5-star review a few years ago, and then just recently came back on and then changed it to a 2-star review. Has not bought anything from us for years. We don't even sell sleeves, so I don't know what they would buy. But then they just changed it on us and gave us a 2-star review for no reason, which was it was really hard to believe. I couldn't, even believe it. But sometimes people are like that. You just don't know what to do.
It's weird. It's really, really weird. Real quickly, Sean Weatherly at SteveO the Window Cleaner. Best way to clean stationary patio screens. I'll be quite honest with you, man. I do not come across this too much in Colorado. That may be like a way bigger thing in Texas, Florida, warm states. I mean, they have all screen rooms. I cleaned one time. I cleaned it, and I cleaned it with my DI system that puts out like 3 gallons per minute, and just put on my brush and just scrubbed them down. They looked great, but I have not cleaned much of them at all. So, did you do a lot of that? Probably not Wisconsin either, huh?
A fair amount, but like if you get into Florida where they have mosquitoes the size of chihuahuas, then you get like lanai stuff, and everything is fixed screens to like try to be able to go outside when you're still inside, and those are a pain in the butt. Those are almost like you have to like SH and surfactant spray them with an X-Jet and like hose them down because it's just like so much, and they get all gross and algae covered and everything else.
So you would spray it down with like a surfactant or something that prior to, and then kind of rinse it down with just a pressure washer?
Yeah, soft wash, X-Jet it just so that it like foamed, got on there. Usually you're just kind of pulling the dirt off as best as possible. The agitation isn't really needed just because of the way they are, but a lot of those too are homemade. If they're homemade with like staples and you go pushing on them, then they just like break out, and then you have to like pull the frame, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Let's see here. There were some more questions back here. Jaron Morrison is asking some really good questions. I'll just talk about this one real quick since we're kind of on the topic of complaints. Has anyone ever called your business to complain about your driving? Oh man, I've heard about it with many other people. I have personally never got it, and I'm shocked that hasn't happened, but definitely happens. That's for sure.
By the way, I want to just address this. Victor has asked this question 3 times, and Steve has answered. But Victor, yes, he cuts his pads for the Techno Pad. He even wrote it down in the notes, Victor. Yes, he did. But I want to get you answered so you knew.
Sometimes I'll leave a little padding like around it so like the plastic doesn't hit the frames and everything. But yeah, I definitely cut them to size.
I've heard of it. I've never driven poor enough, I guess, for that. I mean, I could see it happening. I mean, you're driving around with your phone number. If somebody's really ticked at you cutting them off, they're gonna let you know.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely. There's sometimes where like you like fly past someone in your company car, and then you realize, oh man, I can't do that. That's not a good idea. This wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, I did have somebody call me one time to tell me that our back doors were open on our cap, like doors. We've had that happen like 2 or 3 times because we had like the clasp on our ARE cap. We had it ordered, but it wasn't coming in. So as it would drive, it would like open up and the doors would open.
Oh, I had a time where we had 2 Gerlich 24-foot poles on the top of my ladder rack in my Toyota Tacoma, and me and Alfredo drove back for 45 minutes from Denver on the highway. They never came off. And then when we finally took the exit, they came off and a car caught up to us like 2 miles down the road. And they're like, your poles fell off, your poles fell off. And I'm just shocked that those poles didn't fly off and like go through someone's windshield.
Dude, so this happened to me, but I didn't get, nothing got hurt, but I was driving behind a truck. It was like a HVAC type truck. And the ladder on the top, as I like noticed, like my brain registered, the ladder was flipping up and the wind blew it and it blew over and I slammed on my brakes and the ladder went sliding towards me. Well, it probably was stationary, and I went over it right between my wheels. It didn't hit my car or nothing. I went right over it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then behind me, I don't know what happened because it's like a ladder. It's not going to go straight. I was like, oh man. And as soon as that guy like pulled over, like, I mean, as soon as it happened, he like, did one of the, like he was like, oh no. I just murdered someone on the highway.
That's scary. Squeegee Life had a good question. Where would one find a sleeveless sport coat? Asking for a friend. Amazon, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
maybe like
a local sporting goods store. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah.
Maybe like a lady's big and tall, maybe. Like maybe.
Let's see here. GK's window cleaning. If you need to use a scraper, but you don't have a ladder on you, do you ever use a scraper on a pole? I almost just want to let TJ answer that question because that man loves his scraper and that's who he will do it. Grayson, for you, I would say hold off on that for a while. It's just until you feel more comfortable with window cleaning and without being like close to the window and just scraping on a pole and not being like, I've done this for very long. There is a possibility, that you could catch fabrication debris on that and create some, things that you don't really want to have to worry about. So I would say for now, just don't worry about that. You'll learn it over time and be more comfortable, then.
Yeah, it happens if you need to do it. It's definitely doable, but I've had them pop off also. But our rule, if you're doing it, is like to be really kind of far away. And it's only real slow, like, hey, I just got to get these couple things off and I'm good. But yeah.
Oh, man. Cyrus asked this question a while ago, too. Man, we may have to actually do the pay chat. Because
this is great. I love these comments. We're gonna beat this week is gonna beat that. We still got 20 minutes left, 15 minutes left.
Cyrus Walker, have you ever used the Unger Teleplus pole system? Yes. I'm planning on getting a 24-foot pole and wanting to know some good aluminum poles. Not old enough to get licensed and cannot transport ladders. I have used it. Here's the thing about any aluminum pole is that once you extend it to like its max reach of that extension, and then you put that out, it will just kind of like slightly like kink, like weird, like at that angle when you try to put like any force on it. This is what I've always seen with these type of poles. It is a nice system in that you can, shed sections if you want, but I would say out of all of the aluminum poles, that probably would be the best one though that I would choose over all of them.
Yeah, what sucks? I really, really like the trad pole, the new carbon stuff. And as soon as that came out, I'm like, never again will I be able to like put aluminum pole in my hand. Like carbon doesn't bend. I don't know how many, like think about over the years, it had to have been $1,000 worth of poles that bent to the point where they're like, and like trying to like shove them back in and just didn't work.
Yep, exactly. Like you could buy, like think about this, like you, Cyrus, is that you could buy like any of the Xero water fed poles can be bought as bare poles. You just got to contact us to buy one. But if you look at the price of like one of those, like a 30-foot Pro Basic, you can get for like under $400, and you get a warranty on it, which I guarantee you a 6-year warranty. I'm not trying to be a sales guy here, but I'm just trying to like tell you like reality of it. Seriously, is that the 24-foot pole will break on you in probably 2 to 3 years. So that's what I'm saying is you're probably going to buy another one. You're probably going to have to buy replacement.
But even
inside
3
collars,
years
outside collars
of like a pole that's not as fun. I don't know, man. Carbon just, it's like stiff. There's so many benefits. The only downside's price. Get over that, and then you're instantly know the decision.
This is my favorite question ever asked on here. Anton asked, if you find a lot of dog poop in the backyard, do you say something to the customer? I've never said anything about dog poop to the customer. Do I want to? I want to, but I haven't.
Yeah, so I had a lady who she had like the side yard was for her dogs, and apparently in the winter, because it snowed at some point, like there was always so much dog poop that we didn't even allow like the ladders on that side of the house. And we'd bring it up to her like, hey, you know, next time we're here, just as like a heads up, if you could like maybe get that picked up, because with our ladders and our hoses, it's really, really hard to work back there. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, you know, with the snow, which was like a month since the snow. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I live here, you can't lie to me. And then next time we were there, it was the exact same thing, and it was like spring. So at a certain point, it's like as soon as you step in something and then step on your ladder, and then it's all over. Your day is ruined, is what that happens.
I had a water fed pole one time that I didn't realize the hose had gone through poop. And then I like retracted that hose like back into the pole, and then poop got inside the water fed pole. And then it like every time I opened the clamps, it would just smell like poop.
All right, guys.
It was one of like I gave that pole away to somebody too, because it never really faded or went away.
By the way, if you've ever gotten a free pole from Steve, I do have a story that's almost like that. That's just as gross in my world. But we're in this house, super fancy house, marble floors, like fancy. They have this like white fancy couch that, of course, nobody sits on behind these windows. So we move the couch, and I go stepping, and I step my whole foot in piles of dog poop. Piles of dog poop. The dog would go under the couch and take a deuce. So the bottom, there was probably 50 piles of dog poop when we moved the couch, and I just didn't even look. We moved it, and I went back to the window and stepped my bare sock all up in it.
Oh man.
I just stood. I was like, doesn't even make sense. How does this house not smell like poop when it's just covered? Like,
I would say that we've had quite a few times, you know, where you get done with it, like a job or a day or one residential job, and you got to take the ladder over the pressure washer and just rinse down every ring because it's just poop all over the rings. Like, it's gross, man. So yeah, you know what? If you want to say something to the customer, you should say something to the customer. Why not? We not. Yeah. Why not? We not. Okay, thanks. So you were saying contact you guys and ask to buy a carbon water fed pole without brushes or anything. That's exactly what I am saying, Cyrus. It's called a bear pole. So yeah, hit us up and we'll help you out. Jeremy Pomo, poop 911. Exactly. Let's see here. What else? There were some other good questions. Let's see.
Here's a great one from Cirrus. He said, okay, thanks. Are you saying to contact you guys and ask to buy a carbon fiber water fed pole with all the brushes? You just touched on that, but you can get any of those things through either Steve or I. We are reps. So contacting us about any of that stuff, you guys know SteveO's number. You can call him, text him. You can Facebook message him. You can anything, and he will happily help you, not even on the channel, but one-on-one. So
yes. The worst thing is Instagram messaging. You ever realize that Instagram messaging is just not good? It's the worst.
There's
It
so
blocks
many
a lot of
that,
stuff.
like,
It's weird.
you almost don't know where they're coming from either. And then you're like, I don't remember where you said something. So
Yeah. Oh, this is a good question. Let's get back to like JR Unknown. What's a good hourly wage for a construction cleaner with experience? Dude, you know what? I don't think you could really expect more out of construction cleaning compared to any other cleaning. It's just not a thing. I don't think, like, if you were the owner or owner operator and you wanted to, you could consider that you could possibly make a larger hourly wage. But gosh, it is, I would say, just like a few times in my life, I've felt really good leaving a construction clean that I've made a good hourly, but most of the time it turns into the same hourly that I'm doing with a residential. And most of the time jobs that aren't construction cleans are higher hourly than that. So I wouldn't base an hourly wage off of for a construction cleaner. Hope to God you get 20 or 25, but I don't know.
yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough because I have clean builders and I have dirty builders. And dirty builders I like don't even want to like mess with. Because like some of them are so bad that you're spending like 3 times the length, and it just doesn't make sense at that point. So it's it is what it is. By the way, Little's pressure washing just said get those likes up. And yes, absolutely. Please do get the likes up. If you're texting Steve, feel free to text him feet pics. He's into that. Also, Squeegee Life just is talking about how awesome his poll is. You can keep going on there. We are one. I'm going through a tunnel. I can't see. It looks like you said #1clip. Congrats. That's right. That is right. Alex gets so mad, by the way.
About your Alex,
2 clip, Alex.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I'm like, that's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. Like,
because he's clipless. He's clipless, so he's just like, he's on that whole other gray area that no one even talks about over there with Mr. Grubbs, you know. So yeah. Let's see here. I think I got a burger come out my nose.
GK's window cleaning just said, has either of you been given food or something like that for free by a client? I was giving cookies and smoothies today. I am also 13. So, but yes, I'm not 13, and I've been giving cookies and brownies. And one chick, this lady, she was like a grandma. As soon as we got there, she's like, oh man, I got the ones for you. And she would make us like custom. She was a chef like back in the day. So she would, like, as soon as we got there, she would tell us what she's going to make. And then the entire time we were doing windows, she would be baking like cookies or turtle brownies with like real caramel.
Oh, wow. I've sat down with like customers after, like, if I've like cleaned their windows in the morning, and they'll make, like, I've had a number of meals with customers, and we just sit there and hang out for like 30 minutes, and we just go back to our things. And it's great. When you can have that with a customer, though, that's like a forever customer. Like, that's a very, very good sign.
And there's some people who like want to have people in the house because they're lonely, and I'm totally cool doing that. Like, I always tell the story, like, I had a guy that ended up kind of like crying with me, but he's like older guy, is kind of he was chair bound, you know, he couldn't really get out of his chair. And, you know, he's telling us how nice our shirts are when we came. And, you know, he just loved, he'd talk. My guys would work, and I'd come in and just sit down and talk with him. And one time I brought him in one of our work shirts, you know, a brand new one. I gave it to him, and I said he could be part of our team and stuff. And he was just like super happy. But yeah, like if you can do that, like, cash tips are cool, but like the relationship tips kind of nice too. And I'll always take it. If somebody offers you something, here's the best rule of thumb you'll ever hear. If somebody offers you something, never be polite and be like, no, that's okay. Always say yes, because it's like almost offensive that you don't take it. So if somebody's like, oh, can I get you a water? Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be great.
The only thing I don't ever take, though, is like, hey, do you want a hot coffee? It's like, no, I really don't want to sit down right now and drink a bunch of coffee after I'm already all wired. That's the one thing I always turn down in customers' houses. I'm like, I have to ask you for your creamer, and it's just a lot. It's just
I've never been offered coffee before. Maybe that's
that's like the number one thing I'm offered at all homes. I'm like, and I don't want to sit there and drink coffee with you right now. I have to.
Colorado's a weird place, I guess. Everybody's drinking hot coffee.
Everybody. This is a good question from Purple Hearts. Is it okay to tell a customer that you don't use any scrapers during window cleaning services? I would say to you, yes, that is okay to say. if that's the way that you want to operate your business, you can still get great results without it. There will be times though where you won't be able to remove like paint, you won't be able to remove some debris without it. But if you want to operate that way, I have had businesses that operate that way and it goes fine. It really does. You just probably shouldn't do construction cleans. You probably just want to take that out of your business if you don't want to use scrapers.
I don't quite get not using scrapers. I know we have the conversations beating a dead horse, but like I just can't think of times where like some windows, but like a lot of windows, you have to use a scraper for something, or like wool or something. And like I don't know why I'd work twice as hard to get results that people are not going to be happy with anyway.
Yeah. I've just seen though, like businesses operate on the simple plan of mop, white pad, detail, mop, white pad, squeegee, detail, done. And that was it. That was all you did for every window, which worked. But I mean, I'm with you in that I have to have a scraper on me. There's just no way to not have a scraper, but you could do it. You could totally do it.
I could see like there's some people who say that they only clean organic. I only clean organic, which means that like you're only cleaning the organic stuff off glass. So if there's something that's more than this, just beyond the scope of service, and I could get that. I could see it.
Real quickly though, Purple Hearts said sometimes customers complain that their windows get scratched. What I would suggest you do is research all that, research fabrication debris, and it's not you scratching the windows. That's the thing. So if you could more educate your customers, that actually may be more of a long-term customer than just them thinking that you're scratching the windows.
And if TJ is here still, which he may be gone, but if TJ is here, please address that one.
Yeah. He's back. He's here. No worries. We're good. MKE Pro Wash. What water fed pole would you guys recommend for residential work? Xero Micro. Xero Micro. It is a 30-foot, 30-foot pole that collapses to 53 inches. Pretty rigid.
3.5 inches.
Huh?
53.5 inches.
Oh, dang it.
That half inch really makes
I quit. That's it.
KT, by the way, said IWCA has some good educational docs and you can give to customers. That's true. There's any documentation for all that stuff is out there.
Yes. There's a lot of good videos too from back in the days too of people really going through and explaining it to give you some good education on it. And I would suggest you check that out. Micro, hands down, best. And you can use it as like a trad pole in many situations. It's great. Yeah. I would have to agree that, like David says, fab debris is so bad these days. And it really is. Number of the houses I do, man, it seems like, one side, just no go all the time.
I have to go back on that one, by the way, the micro, when we're talking poles. You know what pole I really, really like? And every time I'm reminded is the Delight.
Yeah, but the Delight isn't good for resi.
I know, but that pole is like so good. It's like the best of both worlds. It's like almost as light as the ultralight and almost as stiff as the Destroyer.
You know what? I'm going to take it back and I'm going to say the Xero SteveOnator. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it is a 40-foot pole with end defenders on every single section, and it's high mod, and it's the best price at what it is. So,
but the micro, I think them. I do. I just reminded me of the light again because I was playing with it again, like when I was at IWCA convention, and I'm like, man, just poles, just like so good.
It's super. It's basically like the ultralight. It's just a little bit longer, and then it is super rigid. Like if you're doing a lot of like 3-story, 4-story commercial or a lot of tall work, I have one, and it's super nice, super nice pole. People all talking about Xero Micro, man. It is a great pole. I'd say that's probably one of that and the Pro Basic are the most like popular poles, like for sure.
Yeah, by far.
We're helping Grayson out tonight. How long does it take before you have to switch a scraper blade out? And should I try the blade off every time I use it? Dry the blade off. I wouldn't even know because you're probably getting stainless steel blades unless you get carbon blades. That's the only thing you have to worry about with that is drying them. But it really just look at your scraper to see if it's like damaged. If you start seeing like a lot of little like chips off or stuff like that, that's when I'll just flip it and then replace it the next time.
Yeah, they're so cheap that just change a blade. It's like rubbers. Like people are like, well, I barely get 2 weeks out of it. It's like, geez Louise, man, just change your rubber. It's like couple bucks, man.
Yeah.
You know what you're making an hour.
Yeah. You use one blade on a job. It's like nothing. Like nothing. Well, cool, guys. Well, it's about an hour here, so we'll roll out. We are going to be back in 3 weeks.
Tell them why, Steve.
I'm getting married. So if y'all didn't know, I'm actually not married, and Alex and I are getting married, and we are going away for that. And I'm going to leave that out.
Instead of a ring, you got her a baby. So
yes.
boom.
Yes, I got a both.
Then you better get a baby.
I trapped her. That's right.
There you go. That's right.
Or trapped.
So, I'm sorry to all of you who were really holding out for SteveO. He will be taken. It's one more week to confess your love to Steve. Otherwise, done.
If you real quickly can drop a like or subscribe if you've never subscribed to the channel, that'd be very, very much appreciated. And Jersey, what do you got to close us out with tonight?
Of course, it's American Window Cleaner Magazine. If you didn't know, get a subscription to the American Window Cleaner Magazine. Go to awcmag.com. Yes, it's a magazine. Yes, it's paper, and it's awesome. So get that. But as much as Steve doesn't like to say that, me and Steve, we are reps for windowcleaner.com. That's what we do. So if you guys need anything at all, please reach out to us anywhere but Instagram messages.
Yeah.
No, text, call, whatever. You know, our numbers are all over the place. We're on live chat and everything else. We would love to be your rep. So please, if you guys aren't already using us to put your orders in, please do that.
Yes, very much appreciate it. All righty, guys. Have a good couple weeks. Peace.